My gang, what's going on? It's your boy Robbie. We back for another react. This is going to be coming from Maddie Balls, the satisfying death of celebrity culture. I gotta say, it's good to see that they've leveled the playing field, and no longer is your celebrity status, gonna get you kudos or get the fans to go all crazy for you. I'm glad to see it, but let's not waste no time. Let's get to the video.
Back in the day, it felt like celebrities were a separate class, one above and beyond us regular folks. Or at least that's how the magazines in the checkout aisle at the grocery store made it feel. But celebrities are actors, artists, athletes, and icons that people look up to for various reasons. And for the longest time, a lot of others were very invested in celebrities and their lives. I mean, they were very mysterious and had these carefully crafted PR personas that you only got to see once in a blue moon. But nowadays, it's completely different, and people don't look at celebrities quite how they used to. In fact, I'd even assume that a lot of people these days have disdain for a lot of your traditional celebrities. And there are two primary reasons for that. But to understand why people don't care nearly as much as they used to, we got to understand why people cared about random strangers in the first place. Fame is a term that's been around since the Romans, deriving from the Latin word fama, which meant rumor, but also great deeds that would be known for millennia. Back then, the closest things to celebrities were politicians, performers, and athletes, all of which who had the goal to be remembered after their deaths. But Latin didn't really have a word for what we call a celebrity nowadays, which is mostly about being famous while you're alive. That way you can reap all the rewards. Merriam-Webster defines a celebrity as a famous or celebrated person, and celebrities have been around for a while. Some people point to historical figures like Cleopatra, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and more, but generally those don't quite fit our definition, or at least our modern definition of celebrity. For that specific modern definition, Columbia University names French actress Sarah Bernhardt. Sarah was alive from 1844 to 1923, and a big part of her success honestly came from the lucky timing of new inventions. The rise of photography made pictures of her widely available. The penny press, cheap mass circulation newspapers, trumpeted her every role on stage and her doings off stage. Steamship and railway travel allowed her to tour the world as few actors had before. Telegraphy was brand new, and news about her could travel faster. Almost everyone had heard of her, read about her, or seen her picture. But while she was known across the world and was technically the first modern celebrity, I'm sure a lot of you don't know her. For comparison, she was about as big as Charlie Chaplin, Marilyn Monroe, or Lady Gaga for the people back then. But then technology started to spread, and things like the TV and the internet came around. IMDb lists the biggest celebrities of each decade as follows: the 50s, John Wayne; the 60s, Paul Newman; the 70s, Robert Redford; the 80s, Harrison Ford; 90s, Tom Cruise; 2000s, Johnny Depp; and 2010s, Jennifer Lawrence. Obviously, IMDb is missing out on a few here, especially in other categories. For example, in music you had names like the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Elvis, and many more. In film you had Jack Nicholson, Meryl Streep, Jane Fonda, Marlon Brando, and again, many more. And in sports there's names like Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Usain Bolt, Messi, Ronaldo, and many more. This is only covering 3 major industries where celebrities are made, and there are still tons of others in politics.
That guy there, man. That dude, Mr. Jeff Bezos himself. Boy, man, I could say a lot about that dude, but we're going to let this play out.
Politics, journalism, fashion, and pretty much any other area you can think of. As a whole, celebrity culture began to take over the mainstream, especially, like I said, as technology began to progress. Celebrities were used as marketing tools, brand ambassadors, mouthpieces for social movements, and many more things, all of which had a celebrity at the center. I think one of the best examples of older celebrity culture is Michael Jackson. His face was on the cover of every magazine, his name appeared across tons of headlines, and he broke countless records. It's
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson was larger than life. You know what I mean? Like, he had people crying and fainting during his run in the 80s. You know what I mean? I wasn't there for it, but, I've seen the videos and stuff like that. But, he definitely was that guy for, his time.
And even argued that Mike was one of, if not the most famous person of all time. His worldwide tours universally sold out no matter where he went, and when he made appearances, it wasn't uncommon for near riots to break out. Like, this literally happened all the time.
He is probably the most famous person in the planet, God help him.
And a lot of this came pretty much pre-internet. Since then, arguably one of the closest we've seen from a musician has been like Drake or maybe like The Weeknd. But even then, no one has really seemed to reach Mike's level of celebrity. Regardless, this culture of being fascinated by celebrity,
I would say Beyonce was almost there. Like she's probably the only other musician that I could think of that's kind of like in that sphere with Michael Jackson. I mean, and then there's countless others, but we're talking about that's currently in the living. You know what I mean? She's definitely up there. I don't listen to Beyonce, but I'm just saying.
Celebrities and their activities and their whereabouts and all that has permeated almost every area of society. Today, everyday citizens play an important role in the perpetuation of celebrity culture by constantly checking the whereabouts of celebrities, their friends, the trends within celebrity culture, and the general lives of celebrities via media. Celebrity culture is viewed as a form of escapism from reality and a means of preoccupation for everyday people, which is a great point that I think really emphasizes why celebrity culture in a way was so popular. For example, I think MTV's Cribs really sums up why people like
And we
celebrity
all know
culture,
these
and it was
houses were
'cause you could
rented.
escape into this world and see like an alternate reality where you owned a mansion or you had these cool cars, and then you turn off the TV and you're stuck in your crappy little one-bedroom apartment and you're poor. However, some people suggest that celebrity culture peaked in the 2000s, with US News saying Britney Spears, Brangelina, Eminem, and Paris Hilton, just a few names that capture the zeitgeist of 2000s pop culture. Everything in this era was iconic and the public was obsessed. People could not get enough of celebrity news and scandals. That was until, of course, the recession of 2008, and then people's priorities switched a little, which is a little bit of foreshadowing for how this video is going to end. Regardless, for a very long time it felt like there was this aura or this culture around celebrities. They were these mysterious people known across the world, beloved by many, followed, watched, and studied in things like magazines and articles. They were the best of the best in their respective field.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we got the edited version of them in these tabloids and magazines and stuff like that when they did these interviews and stuff. We didn't really know what they were doing all that much behind the scenes, in which they're human. I mean, there is some part of their life that needs to, you know, be kept to them and not necessarily exposed, but some of the stuff that they do, you know, is just like, really? And so when you really start to pull back the layers, you realize, yo, these people are fucking weird. You know what I mean?
They lived
put it
these
light.
illustrious and mysterious lives that you really only got to see a glimpse of in interviews or in a magazine. And yet, while celebrities do still exist, it seems like their significance is not nearly what it once was. While tech developments
Which is
seem to have
good.
given birth to the modern celebrity, I think that's also a major role in what killed it, or at least changed the definition forever. As the years went by and platforms changed, social media micro-celebrities slowly started stealing the spotlight from the giants before them. It all kind of started with things like Vine and YouTube blowing up. Almost immediately after its release in 2013, Vine blew up with over 40 million users by the end of its first year, and hundreds of millions in years following. This created a ton of new stars or micro-celebrities like King Bach, Lele Pons, Cameron Dallas, and even Logan Paul. The main issue with Vine was monetization, especially since it was short-form content and it was still in its early development, so aside from obvious brand deals, the Viners didn't have a ton of choices when it came to making money. And if it didn't make money, it was pretty tough to compete. However, even though Vine didn't last forever, it did prove that the concept would work and even laid the groundwork for what would later come. On top of this, YouTube was blowing up with tons of micro-celebrities in their own various niches. For example, you had people like Casey Neistat, who held a major responsibility in developing new forms of content like daily vlogs. Vlogs provided a glimpse into the real lives of creators, which at that time was pretty rare, especially for the PR-curated mega celebrities. One of the first vloggers, Charles Trippy, holds the record for most consecutive days vlogged in a row at 3,653. The name of his vlog series is Internet Killed Television, which is a little ironic considering this video. But aside from vloggers, YouTube had people like PewDiePie and Vanoss in the gaming niche. They had skit creators like Ryan Higa and Smosh. And as time went on, you could find a micro celebrity that
This was
perfectly matched.
this was like peak YouTube. Like this is when it was in its purest form. I was just saying this earlier to myself because right now I'm currently noticing a suppression in my views because I did get hit with a copyright strike because a YouTube channel, I guess they didn't like the commentary that I did. You know, I made sure I gave them credit, but the channel, they had sent YouTube after me. So it's just once things go corporate, it's like it's cooked after that.
Whatever niche you were interested in. Maybe you're really interested in music and pop culture commentary, and you found me, and I appreciate you. Regardless though, the power was placed in the hands of the people rather than massive detached studios. Unlike regular celebrities, these people were a little bit more down to earth and we could relate to them. This led to some people even developing more parasocial relationships. But aside from that, this pretty much meant that fans could start choosing who was popular or who did well, rather than production companies or PR agencies or record labels or whatever else. By this point, the internet's micro celebrities had already grabbed a gigantic chunk of viewership, competing for attention with movies, TV shows, and more. But little did Hollywood know that this was just the start. Eventually, you'd have people like Mr. Beast, who are now arguably even more influential than some of the world's biggest celebrities. Clearly, the rise of social media took over and
even
took away
he's starting to
attention from traditional
experience
celebrities. I didn't even
lack
touch
of
too much on how
viewership.
Vine turned into TikTok and short-form content took over. And don't even get me started on streamers. Streaming quickly rose in the ranks of content and amassed audiences in the millions. You had people like Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, iShowSpeed, XQC, and more massive creators that took over the internet with giant crowds of fans reminiscent of the Michael Jackson ones I showed earlier.
Kai Cenat will be charged with multiple counts of inciting a riot and unlawful assembly. That is the
That
latest
situation
once
was
again
crazy
from
out there in
police
New York with that
after thousands of people
PS5
came together
situation.
yesterday for that giveaway held by the 21-year-old who does have more than 6 million followers on Twitch and more than 4 million subscribers on YouTube.
Celebrities are no longer able to maintain that mysterious persona I was talking about earlier. If you want to be famous, you need to be relatable, you need to be making content, and you need to keep people entertained. In a weird way, celebrities were kind of replaced by influencers. These days, the internet's micro celebrities have fully taken over. Not only have micro celebrities fragmented our monoculture and our attention, but traditional celebrities having access to social media has changed a lot too. With superstars being able to post any picture they wanted, fans were allowed a new look into their lives, effectively demystifying the allure of the 2000s icon. Celebrities became just like us, posting exactly how any average
For the most part, they are us. They human beings. They've just been in front of cameras their whole life. Like, they're not special. And I'm kind of glad that we live in a day and space now where nobody really cares about your celebrity status. I live here in Metro Atlanta, and I can tell you right now, everybody thinks they're a damn celebrity here in Atlanta. Hell, even I be like that sometimes, and I'm not where I want to be just yet. But yeah, that is over with. That allure is gone.
something would with their friends. Rather than waiting for a written or recorded interview to learn more about your favorite icon, now they were online just as much as the rest of us, which I think really humanized them and led to a little bit of a decline in infatuation, aside from, super fans or parasocial people. And on top of this, I think the main thing the internet did, apart from giving more attention to streamers, YouTubers, or whatever, what it really did was open a lot of people's eyes to how weird and cringy celebrities can be. The cringe part is pretty obvious, and I think there are tons of examples of this, like this Bella Hadid one.
If Homeboy's coming through with these, it's quiet. Yeah, no, it's quiet for him. But like if he comes through in like these, you got some Air Maxes out here. You got some Jordans. Homeboy's gonna like get it.
I mean, this would have never happened in the 80s. And there are plenty more examples of this. Like when influencer Naveen J says she unmatched Ben Affleck on a dating app thinking it was fake, and then he sent her this video, which she posted.
Naveen, why did you unmatch me?
There was that time Adam Levine, despite being married, was sending girls some really cringy flirt messages. Or this Zac Efron post where he says, "I'm grateful for a couple of things today. Martin Luther King Jr. and 10 million followers on IG, black hand emoji, and hashtag MLK Day." Like how out of touch do you have to be to think that that's a good idea to post? And this is probably one of the best examples, but do you guys remember when a bunch of celebrities were singing Imagine by John Lennon and trying to, I guess, raise morale during COVID?
Imagine all the people.
When in reality, it just came off as very out of touch. I don't think most people really wanted a morale boost from other people who were stuck at home in mansions, whereas most of us were struggling to pay for things, or people were getting laid off from their jobs and stuck in much smaller, not as nice homes. Another cringe thing that celebrities do is spam products. Every celebrity these days sells their own alcohol or beauty brand or hot sauce. It's like no matter where you look, it always feels as if a celebrity is slapping their name on some mediocre, already existing brand and trying to shill something to you. I'd say sometimes it
And you know why that is? Because no longer can they make a substantial amount of money in their craft and what they're good at. So they're trying any and everything to get your dollar, to make themselves money, because they are no different than us. They too are stuck in a world of paying bills and having to keep up a certain lifestyle. So this is why you see a lot of this crap. You know what I mean? And I could be shooting myself in the foot for any later sponsorships and stuff like that, which I'm not opposed to. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to sponsor this channel, you know what I'm saying? When I get to them sub counts, you know, I'll be all open to it. But at least I'm honest. You know what I'm saying? Give me that.
Even feels a little bit more scammy than it does cringe. For example, there are a ton of celebrities that have been paid to endorse scams that they haven't vetted enough and they just promote it anyways, which has resulted in a lot of successful scams. There's even a bunch of guides online warning you not to fall for this. And I discussed this in my NFT video, but it feels like we let a boatload of celebrities get away with NFT scams or rug pulls or pump and dumps. Like, for example, you may not know this, but Shaq, Floyd Mayweather, Larry David, and even Lana Rhoades, if you count her as a celebrity, were all involved in NFT scams. But for some reason, they faced little to no public repercussion. Sure, some of them may have had to pay giant fines to the FTC, but I feel like because so many celebrities did this, we as a society just let it fly and stop talking about it. It's kind of like how everyone speeds. You know, like you're expected to go at least 5 miles over, right? And because so many of us are doing it, it's like the police aren't really going to pull you over if you're going 5 miles over unless they're really bored. That's kind of how it was with the amount of celebrities that were doing NFT scams, and it's just like us as consumers were like, well, you know, they're all doing it. There's nothing we can really do about it. That's kind of how it feels. Regardless, social media not only allowed for micro celebs and influencers to take over, but it also revealed how normal and even lame a lot of celebrities are. I mean, Chappell Rowan, for example, has been fighting with Twitter and Pop.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a good and prime example of that or case study is the whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith debacle. You know what I mean? All their dirty laundry has been put out there for the whole internet and their kids. It's just like, yo, y'all are some weird individuals. You know, back in the 2000s, you would see the Smith family. You'd be like, damn, now there's a family that I want to have, or, you know, I want to have one day. And we get to the day and age of social media and he starts a Instagram and you used to start finding out like, yo, y'all weird. Well, it really started before that with the whole August Alsina thing. You know what I mean? It just really kicked that off, in my opinion, how weird celebrities are.
Paparazzi for like years now, which has just constantly been this big PR fight that I see all the time. But being a little cringe or having the spotlight stolen by influencers is the least of celebrities' concerns, especially considering the fact that the internet and social media has made it really easy for people to see just how weird they all are. Being cringe is one thing, but it feels like celebrities, especially lately, have been going through the ringer because a lot of the commoners like us are kind of waking up to how strange a lot of their behaviors are. I feel like this has always been a thing that people have noticed, but especially lately, thanks to the internet and how public everything is, I think people are really realizing it. Like Tom Cruise getting geisha facials, which is really just bird poop facials, and not the kind of facial that some of you sickos are thinking about. The other.
You see, the problem with these celebrities is that they're late to the party. That type of content died moons ago with the whole just doing things sporadically. We're talking like the Vine days, early YouTube, where people were just doing all types of silly shit for the sake of just doing it. Like, we off that now. We not on that. So they're a little late to the party, and yeah, a little too late.
Or Justin Bieber saying that Anne Frank would have been a believer, or Katy Perry going to space for no reason other than to promote her album that featured Dr. Luke, who's kind of a horrible person, or the whole fake Jim Carrey thing recently, or Barbara Streisand cloning her dead dog. Of course, there's levels to this weird celebrity stuff. Obviously, these aren't all as bad as the others, and these are just a couple of the more tame ones. But after Jeffrey Epstein was exposed, a lot of celebrities got caught up in a lot weirder and flat out wrong behavior. To be fair, a lot of the celebrities named in the Epstein files don't have any implicit guilt just because they're named. It's a lot more nuanced than that, especially because Jeffrey Epstein was super rich and was just able to meet famous people and take pictures with them. You know, it's not like he was best friends with them all. But people like Kevin Spacey, Mick Jagger, Bill Clinton, and more were all pictured with Epstein. Trump too, of course, who was once a celebrity before running for president, which I also think speaks to the power of celebrity culture. Like, a lot of people will say he was a businessman and that's why he was running, but I think he was best known for his TV shows. Anyway, other celebrities named in the files include David Blaine, Bill Gates, if he counts, or Stephen Hawking. I think Stephen Hawking counts, and a bunch of others if they all count as celebrities. Regardless, the point is, with a lot of these—
Yo, what the fuck was David Blaine doing with Epstein or in the— well, then again, you know, I think he be doing magic tricks. So, you know, who knows what he was in there making disappear.
these higher class people, you know, the rich and the elite, all being caught up with Jeffrey Epstein, it's resulted in a lot of the public losing faith in celebrities. I mean, it's not too out there to assume that some celebrities were involved with him when people like Woody Allen are marrying their stepdaughters. Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old at 38 years old. And don't get me started on Leonardo DiCaprio. They even made this whole chart showing off his age relative to the age.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio was getting busy, wasn't he? This man, I think at one point he was talking to Rihanna too. They had a little fling going on. This man body count crazy.
To the girls he's dated, with not a single one of them being older than 25. Meanwhile, he's 51 right now. And if celebrities being cringe, weird, scammers, or outright criminals wasn't enough, the political and economical state of the world right now does not help their case. In the last few years, the entertainment industry has changed significantly, with internet-based creators grabbing up a lot more of the attention share. Many point to COVID as the catalyst, and while this all started years before the pandemic, it's hard to deny its impact. People spent a lot more time at home, and big studios or other entertainment outlets struggled to make new content. However, a ton of internet creators continued churning out more content, all while gaining more popularity day by day. And at a certain point, the people started finding those online creators more relatable than the big budget production.
Yeah, but even now, that's starting to die out and fizzle out, you know what I'm saying, on this platform and just in social media spaces, period, because now we're back to the real shit, you know, being at war and gas prices being crazy, you know what I mean? Food prices going up, rent being high. So it's now back to the bullshit. You know, when we was in the pandemic, you know, we had people getting unemployment, stimulus checks, PPP loans. So people was rent, you know, they were being, they was basically getting like rent forgiveness and stuff like that. So there was just time and money everywhere. But that shit's long gone. You know, we back to the nonsense. So people ain't got time to really sit here and watch, you know, content like they used to.
Which led to a big swing in market share. Plus, a lot of us had bigger fish to fry than the Kardashians' ending, like hopefully keeping a job, paying rent, and things along those lines. Like US News said, during COVID, when celebrities tried to comfort fans by offering advice, it felt like a slap in the face. As they posted these videos from the comfort of their mansions with millions of dollars to fall back on, the American public was in chaos. COVID was really an eye-opener for a lot of people and what their priorities should be. I think it showed how out of touch a lot of these celebrities were, and also would contribute to an ever-growing wealth inequality that is still really bad to this day. On top of that, in part thanks to COVID, for years now the box office has been struggling. While obviously there are still big movies that come out every once in a while, it's not like what it used to be. Alicia Reese, Senior Vice President of Equity Research for Wedbush, a large financial services company, said, "The reliance on franchises has been a little trickier the last few years. Yes, there's a level of certainty, but it's not a home run. It's never going to be a home run from here on out because people are pickier than they ever used to be. They know what's coming. Word of mouth means more than ever. It's also likely that people would rather stay home and use streaming services
in the movies.
Instead. Things aren't how they used to be, and it takes a lot more for a consumer to want to spend their hard-earned money these days. Which leads me to the next major point. These days, it feels like there's a bit of a despair among the younger generations, and maybe even...
See, he was already going to allude to what I said just a few minutes ago. This is the shit that's consuming people right now. Real life problems. You know, not these celebrities who have made millions or thousands and thousands of dollars off of the attention or the retention of people, whatever word you want to use, of regular viewers. You know what I mean? We on to other things. We got other problems in the world right now.
And in the older ones as well. Since the American dream of owning a house seems harder and harder to reach due to exponentially growing housing prices, many people, especially in the United States, are finding it hard to drop money on expensive concert tickets or movie tickets or whatever.
Shit, you'll be highly surprised. Right now, Chris Brown and Usher just announced that they're going on tour and they're doing shows. I want to say they're doing two, and you'll be surprised at the amount of people that are going to duck paying their damn rent to go see these niggas perform. Now, you got that one person out there that'll say, oh, well, you only live once. You act as if, though, you're going to actually get and have, you know, going to be able to sit and have a conversation with Chris Brown. You're not. Or Usher. You're not. You're going to pay $500-$600, however much it's going to cost for that ticket just to go see them. Nah, I'm good. And this is no knock to the artist. You know what I mean? They got to make money, like I said. But you have to think about your pocket, because they damn sure not thinking about yours. You know what I mean?
With how expensive everything is becoming, it's harder for fans or consumers or regular people like me and you to want to spend money or time or attention on this celebrity culture. And that's only looking at things from a financial standpoint. If you look deeper into the greater social and cultural focus of people in the world right now, there's just a lot bigger things going on. On top of all the crazy Epstein stuff I mentioned, people are focused on arguably more important things like the various wars happening around the world. I mean, in a matter of months, the United States just captured the leader of a government, Venezuela if you're not keeping up with current events, and now we're going to war with Iran. Like, what? There's so much crazy stuff happening. Who cares what if the Kardashians ended or not? No one has the time or the money to care about all these celebrities, especially given how weird a lot of them have turned out to be. On top of them being weird, they also like to tell us what to do, and this would be political cringe. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't me telling celebrities to not talk about politics. I don't think that's a problem. I'm not one.
Yeah, that's just kind of like Mr. Carter himself, Sean Carter himself, telling us that we need to basically do away with the whole concept of battle rap and things like that. And I think this new crowd of listeners are not on that. They don't give a damn what you say. Like, look, that can be your opinion, but we're not going to stop doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? You don't have that influence on people like you once did. And that's because it's a new crowd of kids out here, a new crowd of adults that didn't necessarily grow up with your music. You know, they wasn't there in the mid 90s, early 2000s when you were at your peak, you know, when you reigned supreme in music. They don't want to hear what you got to say.
Those people, but sometimes it comes off as pretty tone deaf. Like this video that went viral when the Russia versus Ukraine war started.
Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky.
There are plenty of examples of this, of celebrities trying their hardest to come off as virtuous, but usually it comes off more like they're just saying like things to make people happy, and they don't really know or believe what they're talking about. Like when Kelly Osbourne said, if you kick every Latino out of this country, then who's going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump? Or like this David Guetta George Floyd tribute.
Yeah, that was kind of like a shot in a way.
Is in honor of George Floyd, and I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult.
But then one must ask, why are things difficult? This is because human beings have pretty much, they think too much. I've said this before. Human beings, because we've been gifted with the ability to think and create and innovate, it's also been our Achilles heel, our downfall. Because we could easily just end all the war, all the chaos on planet Earth, but we don't want to because we are just a chaotic species. And that's just something that can't be helped. Well, yeah, can't be helped.
So, shout out to his family.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
Why, sir?
This isn't even tone deaf. This is like whatever tone deaf is on steroids. I'm sure you guys can think of plenty other examples of this that are similar, but it's a big issue that many people have with celebrities. But also, to be a little fair to the celebrities, it can't be easy having your best and worst moments broadcasted around the world. We all get angry at people and lose our cool sometimes, or we all have our weird little quirks. So not all of the celebrities are evil, but some are definitely a bit strange.
This is a message for Emma Stone. And if I were a lot younger, I would marry you.
I was just watching Liar Liar the other day. They got it free here on YouTube. And I was just saying to myself, yo, Jim Carrey was one of them other actors who was just, you know, larger than life. Like he really was, from Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, The Cable Guy, what else? The Harry Truman Show. I think I've never seen that, but that, The Grinch, Bruce Almighty, The Mask, like, yo, Jim Carrey was really Dumber and Dumber. Like, he was really that guy. Like, we ain't gonna sit up here and cat, but now it's just like, dude, what the fuck?
And
this whole clone shit.
Chubby little freckle-faced kids. We'd laugh all day long, and go camping and play Yahtzee and tell ghost stories by the fire. and sex.
Celebrity culture is dying, and people are caring less and less day by day. And while many would argue that it was stupid to care to begin with, I do think it's fair and fun to have people that you look up to, or people that you're a fan of for various reasons, as long as it's within reason and you're not becoming a parasocial weirdo. Anyway, if you like this video, you might like my NFT video I mentioned earlier, where I dove into how all of these different celebrities sold a huge lie.
That's the end of the video. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that celebrity worship is, you know, pretty much dead in the water at this point. It's a good thing. And you shouldn't be looking up to anybody. That's what you have your parents and your family for. You know what I'm saying? These people are not to be taken out of their context. They are entertainers. They're there to get in front of a camera and entertain you. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else. You feel me? Yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think. If you made it this far into the video, I appreciate it. Make sure you check that like button, hit the subway, and be sure to sound off in the comment section until security kicks y'all up out of there. That being said, it's your boy Robbie. Till the next video, we gone.